What's happening, everyone? Have you capitulated yet? If no is the answer, welcome to PulseChain. We love you. Oh, it's gotta be fun, healthy jokes. Don't tell me what the price is. I don't care. That being said, welcome to the show. I'm excited to, whenever Dipcatcher shows up, he's able to get camera working and all that stuff. Come on to tell us about quantum mechanics or quantum physics, quantum realm, quantum raffles, all this fun stuff. Looks like it's about to launch. I don't know much about it, but I want to hear more. And when this guy invents something, I am usually interested. I want to see what he did. I want to see what's going on. So new stuff on PulseChain coming. While we're waiting on him, we will talk about some other stuff, such as something that, shout out to Dirty Crypto, said. So yesterday I did the stream on pump.tires. Talked about that, pump.fun, all that stuff. Again, if you don't like it, that's fine. It's here. It looks good for PulseChain as far as mechanics and protocol go for burning and PulseX and volume and all that stuff too. But this is something that I didn't even think to even look. But on PulseX.com, if you look there, it's got some community sites listed here. And the new one added is token launcher and marketplace pump.tires. So there's only 3 listed here. One is official, the app, PulseX app, landing page to get to the IPFS app. If you don't want to do that, you know what to do. If you don't know what to do, go realdefi.com, make the process a little easier. And it's got the stats, so gopulse.com, the premier stat site, premier site, community site on PulseChain pretty much. And then token launcher marketplace, pump.tire. So it has been added to the official pulsex.com. Again, doesn't mean it's official, doesn't mean PulseChain devs are doing it. But boy, there's some strings to pull and interesting stuff on that. So that's one piece. But now that I see our guys here, the catcher of dips, the man himself who's going to explain quantum mechanics to the rest of us plebs, is going to make our bags pump. Welcome back to the show, Dipcatcher.
What's up, dude? Good to see you.
Have you been sentenced to a brick wall? Are you at the southern border right now?
Yeah, the bear market and now these blue collar jobs that are available now. Decided to try my hand at bricklaying.
Well, that's you got to pay bills, and you're actually doing physical work. Better than typing on a computer, I've heard. That's true.
Yeah, building the wall to keep the crypto people in. Actually,
you're building walls to make sure the bridges don't let people exit. What is?
Yeah.
Is there a fee?
Yeah, this is the live footage at the bridge off of PulseChain. Yes. The bridge out has been turned into a brick wall. Actually,
need like a button that has like a stampede that runs in the background across the back of you. Just look at all the people. Look at them. They're aping in. Finally, yay! Glory days. Is this the good old days?
Sorry if my camera is bugging in and out. For some reason, the app I use for the live stream cam is just been glitchy right now. And
it's okay. You're computering so hard that it barely works. But glad to have every pixel of you. So
only so many bits available,
That's true. Well, what's been going on, man? Like, give us before we get into the raffle or the quantum stuff. How is things going in PulseChain land? Are you what's going on? What's interesting? Pump.tires launched. I don't know if you saw that.
But, I mean, I think honestly, like the bottom's got to be in soon. I think last time we talked, it was kind of like weeks. I mean, similar kind of sentiment. Maybe it seems like, I mean, it's almost like every couple months, the Hex PulseChain world has basically just kicked itself in the nuts. Like imagine like standing there on one foot and like with your heel just like ratcheting up. I think there's been a lot of self-inflicted kind of bearishness. Part of it, growing pains, like when you go from one asset, like one premier asset, that had like a massive run to now kind of inflating it to now there's 2 versions of that asset and PulseX and Inc. Kind of that growing pain and dilution. I mean, that was a real thing. So like part of just like the normal retrace from all-time highs from something that just gets overextended, combine that with like now 4 competing assets and then and so
maybe 4.5 or 5.
Yeah, and now potentially infinite, depending on how you frame it. So I think that it was that, and then kind of like the external things, like the SEC thing, and and also I mean just kind of getting generally outcompeted, right? Like like on the EVM side, like Base has been the one like where all of the bridging is going, like bridging of ETH and EVM based assets. Like if it's not on Ethereum, Base, there's like $400 million of stables and ETH bridged over there. And
is this turning into the Vivek H1B, but for the PulseChain community? You need to step up, you need to study harder, you need to build more stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's like that, like, and I mean, Solana is really just kind of eating everyone's cake this cycle. And so, kind of like those things, I think that a lot of people thought it'd just be easy. Like, oh, we have cheap fees, they'll come. When in reality, there's, hundreds of options of all layer 1s or L2s that have cheap fees. And so it's really not about the cheap fees. It's really about the opportunities that exist. And so, the opportunities that appear highly liquid and highly explosive have been on other chains. Things and even like things that like on PulseChain that have performed shockingly well, like PDI. Like, I mean, from its like very lows, like even things like that, where that's fairly liquid, has grown a lot. Strong community that has like suspended disbelief, which is it's like you don't get that all the time. Like getting things where people are willing to suspend disbelief, like that's a kind of a rare trait. Even things like that, which I do think has been able to onboard some people, but broad general public, if they're getting onboarded to chase green candles, it's just been on other chains. So I think that kind of the thing that PulseChain needs, and what I'm really trying to hope to create, are things that are just like unique speculative experiences that every user that hears about it feels like, oh, I could make it big on that. So that's kind of what I think is kind of like PulseChain needs to unlock. And I hope that the pump tires can be that too. I mean there have been a handful of these things. I actually built one and actually was gonna launch it, but then I decided to do Quantum Raffle. I didn't launch my kind of take on a token launchpad, mainly because I kind of think it's a little late in the cycle, and I think that kind of use case is getting exhausted. And so I kind of didn't want to just build like the same thing again, but I kind of wanted to build something unique. So I'm actually sitting on an awesome launch pad that really helps to de-risk the early stage token minting experience, and creates a way for, like kind of, there's definitely a life cycle on meme coins. It's like they go up, they go down, they kind of bleed out, and then it's just kind of like whatever. This thing has a mechanism that limits max downside, and also like that same mechanism kind of creates a situation where like if people want to run it back and like kind of reframe, like reframe it and just kind of keep it moving forward, like it kind of creates a good a good way for like community takeovers to take place, where they have good liquidity and they don't just like recreate the same problem of like a single large holder having all the supply that like maybe caused the price to go down in the first place. So it's like I built a pretty awesome launchpad, but I do think that use case is it's kind of getting exhausted, and So maybe we'll pop that off, at some point. But I kind of shifted focus after literally I have it ready to launch, like fully ready on my local testnet, tested, front end built, but I just didn't quite feel right about just launching another launch pad. And so then I like with this, like really the whole point is like I think that there's alternative ways to have that same type of Pareto gains and losses, where like, 80% of users or 80% of the gains go to 20% of the users. But in crypto, it's way even further skewed than that. Just trying to reframe like that high risk speculation use case just in a different fashion. And that's kind of what Quantum Raffle is.
Well, I think I was reading about on the about page, you're like, it's not just another shitcoin ticker.
Yeah,
I mean, cracked me up. Like, talk
it's
about
like a brutal rat race that I see people descending into insanity about. Like, if and I think that there's like a general angst just in the world. I think it really kind of started with, at least I've kind of picked up on it, like when the Ukraine-Russia war began, where like you could look and people that may look like you are out there like getting, killed. Like, so I think that like that introduced a lot of angst in like the Western world. And then further with like the Israel Gaza situation. So like I think there's been general angst in the world. The big tech layoffs, I think, even further introduced that, because I think there's a lot of overlap between crypto people, like people interested in crypto, and people who might have worked at like the big tech companies or just any tech company in general. So I think there's like been a couple of years of pent up angst, and I think it's being expressed in like the desire to risk it all, on risk it all on a shitcoin and try, where like you don't want to wait years for gains. You want gains this afternoon. And so I think there's been a lot of angst, and I think that's been driving a lot of the kind of the shitcoin casino. But what I was really trying to create with this was just like, and this is why I chose to launch this kind of instead of like another launch pad, was that like I want to deliver that same type of like, chance for high gains, but not relying on you to like sit there and try to ape in as early as possible and then time the top. Like I think that it's like that's kind of a rat race. It's kind of, the shit ticker rat race, I think I called it. And so I wanted to create something that was similar type of risk profile, similar type of potential ROI, but not based on like sitting there staring at a chart trying to trade it. So that's what the culmination.
And real quick, to find more information about this, is there an about page? I know you've been high five moving away from Telegram, as well as I have. There's a group chat.
So if you looked on that tweet that I think you just had pulled up, I think in the first reply there's a Notion link.
Notion link. Okay, that's right.
Yep.
I could remember, where I found the line that made me go, huh, that's funny. And also insightful about the rat race.
Yeah.
Yeah, this where's the race? There we go. So purpose of Quantum Raffle is to, one, create an engaging high ROI opportunity on-chain experience other than the shit ticker rat race. That phrase has so much punch in it. Just so
yeah, I mean that's really what it is. Yeah, like you know how it is, like, it's like even if you just like even if you're not trading the shit tickers, it's stressful because like if you even heard about one and you didn't do it, then it kind of sits there lingering in your mind like, oh shit, like what if I would have bought when I first heard of it? Like, I think it can be highly stressful. In that situation, it's like, there's really no way to get, like, for a high ROI potential, there's really no way to get around that other than, a handful of people capture most of the gains. But really where I think there's opportunity to innovate is in kind of like who captures those gains. Like, I mean, if you look at even like I was looking at the on deck screener, like the top traders of the new most wanted token.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually very interesting to look at who the top unrealized P&L people are. Like, there's a handful of people who like, it's a kind of a good, like, you click on top traders and then you sort by unrealized, and then look at like what their unrealized gain. So make maybe a little wider. So like, you know, that person bought 8,400 and has sitting on 1.2 million. So the amount of units that they have is about almost 3 times as much as is in the liquidity pool. And so like that person's like the big winner here. The person who turned 2,000 into realized 185K, and they sit on an unrealized amount. You know, it's like, that's another big winner. So it's like, you know, you can't really get like, there's no way to like create that high ROI thing unless, you know, it's like, you know, small number of users capture most of that. But like in that case, like if you look at when they bought, it's like they bought like instantly, like they, you know, which was when it was the highest risk. So they kind of deserve that. But it's like, you know, kind of that similar type of, you know, breakdown of, you know, where a handful of people capture most of the gain. Like, it's like in the quantum raffle, maybe we can kind of get in the rules, and then this kind of can be all brought together.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, like, even comparing the two, comparing pump.tires with quantum raffle, like tickers versus not tickers, like, is there something like interesting distinctions there too?
So like on the raffle tickets, basically the way it works is that the game goes live and then people just buy raffle tickets. So the first 10 cost 2 million pulse just to kind of seed the prize pool. But then everyone after that costs 200K pulse, which is about $10. And so 80% of the prize of the deposits goes into the grand prize pool, and 20% goes into what's called the virality bonus prize pool. And then there's no fee collected, like, so all of it goes into the prize pools. And then if 30 minutes goes by without any new raffle tickets purchased, then the game ends and the winners are determined. So the grand prize winners are the final entrant, so the person who bought their ticket last, the 10th from last, the 100th from last, the 1,000th from last, 10,000. So basically, like, end ticket minus power, each next power of 10. And so if you look at the quantum raffle site, like that one on testnet run, I you know, kind of was running this on my testnet and simulating activity. So you can kind of see, like, there were, so I guess you can scroll up. That's just showing the same thing above there, because there's only been one raffle. So like the grand prize pool, 23 billion pulse, virality bonus was 5.829. And so if you look at the grand prize winners down there, yeah, right there. So they're scrolling stats so I can see that. So I can see the grand prize numbers. Or you can close that virality bonus. Okay. So there were 145,660. You can click hide past raffles. It's just showing the same thing as above. So like so there were 145,660 raffle tickets sold in this testnet run. So the winning number was 145,660, 145,651. So that's like the 10th person in line. The next one is the 100th person in line. Next one is 1,000th person in line, then 10,000, and then 100,000th person in line. And so it every new ticket winner changes who those other winners are. And so like at all times, like every time a new ticket is sold, like a potential winning slot is like inching closer and closer towards you. And then maybe it hits you and then starts inching away from you, but then the next one's kind of inching towards you. And so they're kind of distributed in a way where, like, rather than in like the shit ticker rat race, rather than like the first person to buy captures all of the gains, in this case, it's actually the later people who capture the grand prize. Like if you see there, because it's like the 1st, the 10th, the 100th, the 1,000th, like in the, like 4 of the 6 prizes were for people that were in the last 1,000th of entrance. So like, I think it can kind of create like a flywheel effect where like there's, if the prize gets so large and the entry is fixed, then like the ROI potential just grows, and then it's almost like a no-brainer to just put it in, because like, if you're one of 4 out of the last 1,000 entrants, you're going to win a prize. And so that's like 0.4% chance if of that cohort. So like it kind of shifts that. So that's kind of the big kind of shift in the perspective, is that like in the shit ticker rat race, the first handful, like the first buyer captures, the big prize, and that's already predetermined. Once that first buyer is there, then it's like, okay, all the later buyers, maybe you're looking for scraps and looking to trade the momentum, but like if you're a late buyer, there's like 0 chance that you're going to capture the big prize. The big prize winner was the guy who bought first. So in that case, it's already predetermined. Whereas in this case, like it's always recirculating. So there's like always a chance to kind of put yourself in contention. So that's kind of like one of the big differences there. And
what
so
the
number of,
too?
Yeah. And well, so the, like for the grand prize, the number of winners is equal to the number of digits in the number of entrants. So in that case, they're like 145,000. So there's 6 winners. So every new 0 that's added to the entrant count is like a new grand prize winner. And then, so kind of to kind of balance that out, where like the late buyers, because, like you could see on that, on the grand prize winners, the majority of the grand prizes go to late buyers. Kind of to counter that out and to incentivize people to participate early, there's something called the virality bonus. And so 20% of the entry fee goes to the virality bonus pool. And the way that works is that when you buy a raffle ticket, so all the raffle tickets have a number. They start at 1 and then they go up. So the team that you're on, like the team number you're on, is however many digits is in your raffle ticket. So tickets 1 through 9 are on team 1, tickets 10 through 99 are on team 2, team 3 is tickets 100 to 999, etc. And so once a team fully forms, they start earning from that virality bonus payout from all the later teams that form. And team 1 and team 2 are kind of bundled in a way. Basically, so for example, say it gets up to 999 participants, then 999. So then another one comes in. Now it's 1,000. So team 3 has fully filled up, and so 20% of the entry fee from tickets 100 through 999 are split between team 1 and team 2 equally. So team 1 gets half, team 2 gets half. Team 3 doesn't earn yet because team 3 wasn't formed yet. So only the fully formed teams earn from each additional team that forms. And so so for example, like if you look at the Notion, it kind of gives gives an example on the like kind of like a virality bonus example. So click on the Notion doc. So for instance, like once team 4 fills up, so then there's 9,000 users of team 4. So 9,000 times 200K times 20%. So like the amount of virality bonus from purchases of, within team 4, that is split between teams 1, 2, and 3. And so team 1 splits that over 9 people. Team 2 splits it over 90 people. Team 3 splits over 900 people. So that so the earlier you are, like the smaller team you're on, the larger portion of that you get. So, so like that's the incentive to be in early, is that, you know, you're, because the very early team, so maybe the first 1,000 people, the odds of you know, of you winning are much lower compared to the people who join very late. But to counter that out, you know, you still earn what can be a pretty substantial prize from this virality bonus. And so this is like kind of the race to be early. You know, is that you take on the risk of, you know, having a smaller odds of winning the grand prize, but because of that, you get paid from basically every entrant after you. So I think this is a pretty powerful concept here, because it makes it more attractive to join, I think, because you, like, if you lock in early on one of the lower number teams, then now you're incentivized to keep growing the pool, because every time a new team forms, you on the prior team get that payout. It's like a lump sum payout that's split up equally amongst teams, and then amongst the teams they split equally amongst all the participants. So it's like, so that's kind of the thing, and kind of the analog to that in the shit ticker rat race. That would be like as if you bought early and then DCA'd out, or bought early and provided liquidity, because, like, you know, you're very unlikely to, or not very unlikely, I mean, you know, it can happen, you know, but just like most of the winners are in the later cohort, like, you know, most of the winners are going to be in the final group. So like, you know, but you can still, like, there's a spreadsheet that I let me see if it's in the.
Got a question here when you get a chance as well.
Let me share the spreadsheet. So to show kind of the scale of what these prizes can be. I mean, that one's actually, like, if you just go to the testnet one, it's kind of an example. It shows the earnings per team. So like, if the prize pool hit that, like, $1 million, you know, so like 30 billion Pulse was put in there. Members 1 through 9, they 80x'd their bag. It's like, this would be an especially, I think this would be an especially large prize. But, like, you know, tickets 1 through 9 cost 2 million Pulse, and then they claim 100, they claim 116 million Pulse. So, like, those people on a big one, they didn't win the grand prize. So no one from team one won a grand prize, but they did win a big, you know, because it grew so large after them. And then team 2, their ticket cost 200,000 Pulse, and so they got, you know, 200,000. So they grew by what would that be? 5 to 1 million and 11, so like 60x. Team 3, theirs was 200,000, and then they got up to 1.13 million. So they were like just over 5x, almost 6x. Team 4, they recaptured half of theirs from their virality bonus, and then Team 5 didn't get any of the virality bonus because Team 6 didn't fully form yet. Team 6 would have been, like, I think the total number of entrants were 145,000. Team 5 would have had a payout. See those pending ones there? They only got it had Team 6 fully filled up, which it didn't, like in this simulation, where it stopped at 145,000 depositor. It would have had to get to 1 million depositors. So, you know, but people on Team 5 were the ones that won the grand prize. So like the net earnings of Team 5 winners, if you count the lucky ones that won the grand prize, is very large. But kind of the later teams, it kind of starts falling out of contention for high virality bonus, which is kind of similar in the shit ticker rat race. Like late buyers probably aren't going to get that high multiples. But in this case, they kind of still have a chance with the grand prizes. So
got a comment here too from Dreamer. I think the virality should be higher. 40% also incentivize traditional be first, get guaranteed gain mentality. You think of that?
Yeah, I mean that's that is a good idea. It was increased from 10% to 20%, and that's kind of the balance. Maybe after the first one, that like there can always be a kind of a future iteration on these. I kind of like the 80-20 because it's kind of like a natural like Pareto ratio. And it's not too high where like that's kind of what to battle like for later participants. Like if you feel like you're just giving too much away to the early guy, maybe that like makes you not feel as great. And because the grand prize would be growing slower, like say it was 40%, the grand prize would the rate at which it would grow would be that's a 100% difference. Like the grand prize currently grows at 100% faster rate than it would if the virality bonus was 40%. So that's kind of why 20. It was originally 10, but then kind of after just kind of running it through different spreadsheets and simulations, I thought 20 made it good because like it creates a scenario where basically like once two teams fill after you, you get back at least what you put in. Is kind of what the way the math works out. Like you see, like Team 4 got half of it back, but then once Team 6 would have fully filled up, then they would have gotten more than what they put in. Their cost basis was so. So that's kind of like they're definitely good. Good. You're thinking on the right track on that. But I did think that 20 was like a good balance of large grand prize bonus plus like it does add up pretty quick, especially for the lower teams.
So when launched it? Like what's the plan there?
So Wednesday, I think 9 a.m. Pacific.
Wednesday 9 a.m. Pacific. Okay.
Yeah.
And so what? Maybe take us through. It launches. What happens? Like how
it launches.
participate?
There's probably going to be a race to get in those first maybe 3 teams.
And why is that? Why there's a race there? Like why? What are the game mechanics?
Because the lower number team you are, the smaller number of people that you have to share your team's prize with for the virality bonus. So like Team 1 has 9 people, Team 2 has 90, Team 3 has 900, and so because the virality bonus is split equally amongst all the teams that are currently formed, it's like it's split in half. Maybe I'll post. There's like a pie chart that kind of shows this, but like when there's only 2 teams that are fully formed, once Team 3 fully forms, the virality bonus from Team 3 goes and split equally amongst Team 1 and Team 2. And so if you're on Team 1, Team 1's getting 50%, Team 2 is getting 50%. If you're one of the 9 people on Team 1, then you're capturing, what is that, like around 5%. So 50% divided by 9. So around 5% of that lump sum. And but if you're on Team 2, 50% divided by 90 people, you're earning about 0.5. And that difference there is actually why the first 9, like if you're on Team 1, the entry cost is 2 million pulse. So Team 1 and Team 2 get similar. Team 1s are slightly better, but Team 1 and Team 2 have similar cost basis, if you want to call it that.
So you come in, you whatever place you are, buy the number of tickets you want. How long does it run for? Again, I'm just trying to like simplify and like summarize for people too. How long does it run for?
Potentially
How
forever.
long do you have to wait
It
until
only
you get the
stops.
claim?
The game only ends once 30 minutes goes by without any new raffle tickets purchased. And so that's when the grand prizes are allocated. But the virality bonuses, those get paid out and are claimable every time a new zero is added to the total number of entrants. A new virality bonus amount is claimable. So virality bonus is like yield that you earn in real time as it grows. But the grand prize is only paid out once the game once 30 minutes goes by without that. So it's kind of interesting to think about, like what situation would cause that to happen. Like say, like if the prize pool is so large, like why would 30 minutes go by without someone like trying to put themselves in contention for it?
And what's the difference in buying like 5 tickets, 100 tickets? Like how much does it increase your likelihood of winning? And what is the percentage of like winners and losers? Is there like a rough estimate for participation on this?
So yeah, the odds of you winning a grand prize are log base 10 of the total number of entrants divided by the total number of entrants, rounded, where log base 10 is rounded down. So floor parentheses log 10 of n divided by n is like the number of, the odds of winning a grand prize.
I'm being told low.
Correction. Log base 10. Let me get this right. Log of log base 10 plus 1 divided by n. So log base 10 of n plus 1 divided by n is like the odds of winning a grand prize. The odds are different. They come out to different like, so for any and then 10% of all users get the virality bonus. Because if you think about it, if virality bonuses are paid out when new teams form when the total number of entrants grows by power of 10. Mm-hmm. So like, at any point, the people who are earning the virality bonus is 10% of total users. So basically, like the people who formed the latest team don't earn a virality bonus. So like about 10% of users win something. That log base 10 of n plus 1 over n, those people win big. And then the people that win medium to big are the low team people, and the people that recoup some are the later entrants that won virality bonus but didn't win the prize. So kind of similar breakdown to the shit ticker rat race, because like there's no way to get around that. Like the gains have to come from somewhere, and so the purpose of this is just to kind of just reset who gets those gains, and done in like a kind of a fair way where, like, if you're put out of contention due to like new people entering, at least you're earning that virality bonus. And a good way to look at this, like if you look at my Twitter, I posted a visualization. Yeah, so right there. So each green dot is a new entrant, and the purple dot is a grand prize winner. And so like you see it's kind of going around, and then every time it hits that like power of 10, like a new grand prize starts phasing through everybody. So like here in a moment, you'll see a new, like right about here, maybe.
3,
once it hits
2, 1, 0.
Wait for it. Once it hits 1,000.
Fractional. Milliseconds.
Oh.
It's got to hit. Go. Do it. Make your dreams come true. It's just a troll. You made it stop, and it just never happens.
There it is.
Have we been rickrolled? Oh, nope. It's there. I like it.
Yeah. So then, like that, it's like you're always coming into contention. Like most of them go to those like later groups. But then so there's kind of always a chance. And that kind of gets into why it's called the quantum raffle. Is it like if you understand kind of how quantum mechanics or quantum computing works, like basically like
we do,
rather than something being like a 0 or 1 at any time, there's a probability distribution of it being a 0, 1, or anything in between. And then once that thing is observed, then it either resolves to like 0, 1. And before it's observed, it exists in something called a superposition. And in that superposition, there's like a probability distribution of outcomes. And during that superposition, like all things are possible. And so that's kind of how this works, where like when you buy a raffle ticket, you kind of enter the superposition where like one of the possible realities that exists is you turning $10 of Pulse into $1 million of Pulse. And you exist in that superposition. And then the only way that becomes, realized is once, it's observed. And in this case, being observed is once 30 minutes goes by without any raffle entries. So
why quantumraffle.ai? Like why as we up here?
So because quantumraffle.com was taken. And AI quantum raffle. So like kind of an early, like a prototype version of this concept. It's called Big Money Button. I kind of soft launched that a while back, mainly just to kind of see how the dynamic was. It never really escaped like that. Like the prize pool never grew large enough to like make it kind of fit that pinwheel thing. And it was more kind of just like a test to see kind of the dynamics. And so like, I wanted the name to be a little bit descriptive, and people are kind of familiar with raffles. And I think that compared to lottery, like lottery doesn't sound like you're going to win, but raffle sounds like you have a chance. So
it feels friendly. It feels like, oh yeah, I did one of those before, and I probably won something that's somebody contributed from the yard sale or something. Yeah. But this could be Pulse.
Yeah. So that's that's why it's called quantum raffle. So part the kind of like that superposition, part kind of the orbits. It's like those teams are kind of like orbits, like kind of quantum orbitals of like energy states.
I actually know like a fraction of what you're talking about because I've been reading up on quantum computing lately to like be like, what are qubits? How does this stuff work? So the words you said make some sense.
Kind of exciting. I think it's probably some cycles out. I know some people who are like actually like industry leaders in the space that like I talk to a lot, like very like that where, so I've kind of been plugged into that stuff for a while, and kind of the like from their perspective is that there's nothing really practical coming out of it other than like mathematical advances and like advances in computer science. So more like research based advancements, nothing too practical from a commercial standpoint, but a lot of the companies that are producing quantum related things, whether that's be software to support it or the actual quantum computers themselves, they like to kind of run these marketing campaigns where like, they'll have some breakthrough where like the breakthrough is like maybe meaningful to the people who are like deep in the weeds in that world. And then they'll frame that breakthrough as like some like big step, but in reality, it's more like, okay, we proved with a quantum computer that a quantum computer can simulate another quantum computer, or like it can simulate random noise in a way that a quantum computer would, but a classical computer wouldn't. So kind of these like there's things like that. So I think quantum is maybe a little ways out,
In a decade, will we have unlimited energy?
Probably less things related to like energy procurement or production. More things around like encryption. So like security
That's the part
stuff.
where everything dies, when everything's broken and we got to better.
The people that I've talked to, they're actually serious experts in this, and like they would know. They actually say that the SHA-256 crypto for most major blockchains is actually safe, believe it or not.
I did some research the other day where, funny enough, SHA-256 shouldn't be too affected by quantum, at least what we know as of now, but a lot of other stuff is.
Yeah, like there could be crazy events that change that, but yeah, so that's kind of the quantum element. Maybe if there's like you know how like AI is there's been kind of like an AI crypto merger hype cycle that's been ongoing, mainly on like Base and Solana, not on Pulse. There's been like very little, It's kind of interesting. Maybe it's just kind of the user like psychographic or like demographic type of things. Why some of those use cases are not as like the use cases that are really popular on PulseChain. I feel like are like the things like the coins that have attacks where they buy and burn themselves. People are really into that type of use case. But like things kind of like the AI agent use case, or like
I'm very excited for AI agent
some of those things where like people are using like tokens as a way to kind of semi-fund like AI research, or like that there's basically none of that on Pulse.
I want to have the assistant. I pretend to have an assistant here, but I don't have the AI agent assistant, but I want the AI assistant right now.
Yeah, but maybe if they're like, maybe next cycle like quantum is kind of that overlap, maybe PulseChain can be on the forefront of this. And that's kind of the other purpose of the whole thing is that like I really feel like it's do or die time with some catalyst that's going to like attract people to PulseChain. And like I don't think like I really don't think that it's just like more ticker, like just new shit tickers, or like charts that look like they're up and to the right, because there's charts that are up and to the right everywhere. And so like what like that I don't think is like a unique value proposition. But maybe like a $1 million, $10 million prize that you can enter by just going to a website. Maybe that could break through to new audiences outside of PulseChain.
If you only named it quantum blockchain.ai, you would have hit the trifecta and got unlimited funding.
Maybe. So it is
blockchain related though, so you kind of hit it indirectly. Yeah, I mean AI maybe not so much, but
hopefully that's an outcome, is that like there's something, especially with like the virality bonus, encouraging people to promote its growth. Like hopefully that it gives people like a new narrative other than like, oh, buy this coin that I own. Like, okay, well, yeah, you and everyone else. So I hope this can be like a unique high ROI potential experience that can help kind of break through the shit ticker noise a little bit.
We got to punch through the shit ticker noise. I want that t-shirt.
Just like a fist. Yeah, your fist going into a butthole. Yeah. You can be the model for that.
Oh wow, I don't know about. Well,
thanks for volunteering.
We could do the PG version where it's a fist just breaking up like a shitty thing of some sort. I don't know. PG-13 at least. Dipcatcher Radio. He's back again, everyone. He came back on the show to talk about quantum stuff and .ai. And where can people find out about Tento Nomani's project? Is it quantum?
Yeah, so quantumraffle.ai. Please don't get scammed. Always rely on
quantumraffle.com.
Don't go to there. .ai. Go, follow me on Twitter. That's like the up to date. Don't try reaching me on Telegram. I actually highly recommend getting off Telegram.
Plus one.
Lot of phishing, lot of like. For me, the breaking point was me getting tricked, seeing a username that I thought that I recognized from my own chats. Someone messaging me like, "Hey, I'm having trouble Like, where do I go see the team yield? And then they sent me a link. And luckily, like, you know, even before this, I only used Telegram on like non-critical devices. I was almost fished trying to help someone that I thought I knew, someone, an imposter posed as like a regular person. Usually the imposters are like posing after, like there's a ton of imposters of me, like endless amount of fake, you know, tanto nominel, you know, but like that was like to me like the final straw of like, okay, fuck Telegram.
Dude,
like
it's been at least
Telegram.
twice
So,
I've almost clicked on a link and I'm like, it is unreasonably hard I do security. Like I've seen all the things, like this is unreasonably hard to stay safe on Telegram. It's just like, no, I'm with you.
Yeah. So yeah, don't try to reach me on Telegram. Don't, if you think you're talking to me on Telegram, you're not. Reach me on Twitter. It's much easier to verify authenticity because you can look at profiles, you can look at history, you can look at mutuals. So if you want to talk to me, you can get a hold of me on Twitter, but do not get on Telegram and think you're talking to me.
PSA. There you go. Everyone, that's all we got for you today. Scivive and 5555. We are out.